It wasn't you. Have you ever spent an entire shift believing a guest was angry at you? Maybe they barely made eye contact. Maybe every answer felt short. Maybe they seemed frustrated from the moment they sat down. And before long, you started wondering what you had done wrong. Experienced servers eventually learn something that can completely change how they experience restaurant work. Sometimes the guest was never angry at you at all. One of the hardest parts of hospitality is that we are constantly interpreting people. We read expressions. We notice tone. We pay attention to body language. We look for signs that a table is happy, frustrated, impatient, or satisfied. Those observations help us do our jobs. But they can also lead us to assumptions. And sometimes those assumptions are completely wrong. If you have worked on the floor long enough, you have probably experienced this. A guest seems frustrated throughout the meal. You spend the entire interaction trying to fix a problem that may not even exist. Then the meal ends. The guest thanks you, leaves a generous tip, or tells you they enjoyed everything. And suddenly you realize something. The story you created in your mind was never the real story. Many newer servers automatically connect a guest's mood to their own performance. If a guest seems unhappy, they assume they caused it. If a guest seems irritated, they assume they made a mistake. And honestly, that reaction makes sense. Hospitality is personal work. You invest your time, your attention, your energy. So when something feels off, it is natural to wonder if you are the reason. But experience teaches a different lesson. Guests bring their lives into the restaurant. Stress from work, financial worries, family problems, health concerns, bad news. And sometimes they arrive carrying things that have absolutely nothing to do with the meal, the service, or the restaurant. Think about that for a moment. Because it changes how you interpret people. A guest who seems impatient may be worried about something waiting for them outside. A guest who appears distracted may have received difficult news earlier that day. The truth is, we rarely know what someone was carrying before they walked through the door. Think about that for a second. Because every server has probably misread a guest at least once. None of that excuses rude behavior. But it does provide perspective. And perspective can protect you from carrying emotional weight that does not belong to you. Professional service is not about assuming every guest likes you. It is about understanding that every guest has a story. And most of that story is invisible. Once you understand that, something changes. You stop reacting to every expression. You stop overanalyzing every conversation. You stop assuming every difficult interaction is a reflection of your value. Instead, you focus on what you can control. Being professional. Being attentive. Being respectful. Being consistent. The rest is often outside your control. And that realization creates freedom. Freedom from unnecessary stress. Freedom from self-doubt. Freedom from carrying emotions that were never yours to carry. The guest who seemed upset. The guest who appeared frustrated. The guest who felt impossible to please. Sometimes they were never angry at you at all. They were simply dealing with life. And recognizing that may be one of the most valuable lessons a hospitality professional ever learns. The work feels lighter. Confidence grows. Stress becomes easier to manage. Hospitality becomes more sustainable. a more enjoyable place to work, a healthier place to grow, and a place where someone else's bad day no longer becomes your burden to carry. If you work in hospitality, restaurant service, or any guest-facing role, like, share, and subscribe so we can continue building a community for people who truly understand life on the floor. Have you ever discovered that a difficult guest was actually struggling with something completely unrelated to the restaurant? Share your experience below, because you are among people who understand. This is the server section, and thanks for watching.